Good afternoon. I'm Cheryl Sharp. I'm the Senior Advisor for Trauma-Informed Care at the National Council. I'm so pleased to introduce a remarkable thought leader this afternoon, Dr. Bruce Perry. Bruce is an internationally recognized trauma researcher and treatment visionary, a doctor of both medicine and psychiatry, a professor, a best-selling author. Perhaps you've read one of his books, The Boy Who Was Raised as a Dog, or Born for Love, Why Empathy is Essential and Endangered, both available at the bookstore. As a child psychiatrist and senior fellow at the Child Trauma Academy in Houston, Bruce Perry has helped an untold number of children find hope amid heartbreak, including Waco, Oklahoma City, Katrina, Sandy Hook, and many, many others, and then individually in the work that he's done. And he's here to explain how empathy is vital to all of our development and how our modern world threatens it daily. He sees compassion as underlying how society works and how difficulties related to empathy are key factors in social problems, mental health challenges, and even physical health. In everything he discusses, you'll notice that Bruce adamantly emphasizes that healing and recovery is possible, driving home the point that relationships are the agents of change and the most powerful therapy is human love. I can happily attest to Bruce's passion and important work. He is unparalleled in his efforts to promote innovations in service, research, and education in child maltreatment and trauma. And now I'm happy to open our conversation with him today. Please welcome Dr. Bruce Perry.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm actually very honored to be here. I'm actually a little bit of a nervous presenter. I have been using the wonderful powers of self-hypnosis for many years. And as I look out in this audience, I am a little bit, it's always a little bit intimidating because I know that everybody in this room has tremendous expertise. Everybody in this room has lots of experience. And I'm the one that gets to sit up here or stand up here and share my opinions about things. So I feel very honored that I get to do that and a little humbled by that. And I just want to give you a little bit of warning because this is going to be a little bit preachy too. In part because every once in a while I think we need to kick the beehive. Part of what we are doing in the modern world is really amazing and really good. But part of what we are doing in the modern world is essentially a product of the inertia of previous generations' good decisions and bad decisions. And what I want to do is help us be a little bit more explicit in the process of inventing the future. Because that's really what we're doing here. The fact that we're having meetings and talking about better programs and better practices and better policy and influencing law, we are exercising one of the most remarkable qualities of our species, and that is the capacity for social cultural evolution. No other species can make as much change in a given generation and pass that forward to the next generation as ours. Now, I tend to look at all of this stuff through the lens of a neuroscientist. And that's a bias. But I think it's a bias that can bring some interesting insights to this set of problems that we all face. So when I talk about social cultural evolution, I'm thinking about the brain. Because it's the brain that allows us to actually do this. The human brain, particularly the cortex, has this unique capacity to absorb information and store it more efficiently and more efficiently than any other species on the planet. So much so that right now, somewhere not distant from this place, there is a child in an 8th grade biology class who's very easily learning concepts about DNA that the smartest person on the planet didn't know 10 years ago. That's pretty mind-boggling. And they're just learning it, not just one 8th grade kid, hundreds of 8th graders. So this interesting capacity of our species to essentially benefit from the learnings and the experiences of other generations and use that to influence the way we make decisions about raising children, educating children, creating governance models, creating economies, inventing products, doing new ways of performance art. All kinds of things that humans do really is mediated, all of this, by the brain. And this quality of the human brain, the capacity for social cultural evolution, is a remarkable, remarkable thing. And part of what's happened is that every generation sort of makes choices. Now, this is an interesting thing, and this is what I want you to be very aware of. We pass on the next generation. We pass on good things and we pass on bad things. We pass on things that we explicitly choose to pass on. Like we decided we're going to teach math to our children. That's an explicit choice of our culture. But we also make the explicit choice that we're not going to teach music. That's an individual family choice. That's not a cultural choice. We don't think that it's such a pervasive social, cultural thing that everybody needs to learn how to read music and perform and make music. But we want everybody to learn how to multiply, right? We want to regulate the fact that people learn how to drive a car. We want to make sure they get that there's instruction. We want to make sure that everybody learns this core content about driving a car, the rules of driving a car, and has practiced driving a car before we license them and give them a car. Not a bad idea. But we don't do the same thing for raising a child. We don't make any systematic, recommendations or ensure that everybody who becomes a parent has the fundamental knowledge about what's good for children. We don't do that.